Today's video is dedicated to the luxury pieces that I actually use. Some of these are more recent luxury purchases, things that I bought in the past couple of years, while others I've had way longer than that. I mean, some of the things that I have here, I bought 8 or 9 years ago, yet I still go back to time and time again, which to me is the definition of a smart luxury investment. Personally, when it comes to curating my own luxury collection, I am all about quality over quantity. I don't aspire to have walls filled with luxury pieces. Instead, I would much rather have a small but mighty collection, but one that's filled with pieces that I actually use and enjoy. So today we're going to be looking at some of the pieces that I go back to time and time again. And these are really not the most eccentric, most over the top luxury pieces, but the proof is in the pudding. These are the things that I actually reach for. So without further ado, if you'd like to see some of my best luxury purchases, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on watching. If I sound a little stuffy or seem a little sluggish, that's because I had the worst cold last week. I don't think I've ever had such a bad cold in my entire adult life, but I'm feeling a lot better. I am almost fully recovered, but I still feel a little bit slow, but I didn't want another few days to go by without me putting up a new video for you, and I have actually been really looking forward to just sitting here and filming for you. So I do apologize if I'm not quite myself just yet, but we're getting there. And I'm really excited to get into sharing with you some of my most worn and most loved pieces. And why don't we start with one that you see me wear in almost every single one of my videos. It's a piece that I do get questions on, especially from people who are newer to my channel, which if you are, welcome. But for those of you who have been with me for a while, you'll probably remember me unboxing this, which is my Boucheron quad ring. This is a piece that I've had in my collection for, I think I got this when I went to London. Was it 2021? I think it was just around the holidays in 2021. So it's something that I've had for almost 3 years at this point, and I really would not want to go without. It is definitely one of my most prized possessions. And as much as I love my fine jewelry pieces from Hermes, if I had to pick a single piece to keep, this would be the one, because I love how simple, how subtle and contemporary it is, but it also makes just the right amount of statement. So this is from the so-called quad collection from Boucheron, which is definitely their most popular and most well-known collection, even though Boucheron is a house that has been around for hundreds of years, and they not only offer fine jewelry, but they also have an incredible selection of high jewelry, which if you have no idea what high jewelry is and what the differences are, I will make sure to have a video linked up here for you. In my last video discussing the jewelry range of Chanel, we also looked at their range of high jewelry, which is just fascinating. If you're into fashion and jewelry, you must know about high jewelry, because it is the closest you can get to pieces of art when it comes to the world of fashion. Anyway, I digress. What's important to know about Boucheron is that they're one of the oldest jewelry houses, and even though they're not nearly as well known as Cartier or CLEEF, or at least not as hyped as those brands, their quality, their craftsmanship, their heritage is just astonishing. And the quad range, in my opinion, is the most wearable, and it's definitely the most modern. Now, the reason it's called the quad range is because these pieces will either feature 4 different shades of gold or 4 different motifs, even if you buy a piece that's made of a single shade of gold, because they do have a huge variety of pieces in this particular collection. But you will always have some variation in this collection, and actually each motif pays tribute to a different facet of Parisian architecture. So I have the classic quad small ring. Mine features 4 different shades of gold. So it features a yellow gold band, a white gold band that's set with pavé diamonds. I have a band that's actually finished in brown ceramic, and then it's topped off with a really simple rose gold band. But as I mentioned, you can choose from a ton of different color combinations. If you don't like brown, they also offer this particular piece in black, which, to be honest, the brown one is so dark that you really cannot tell that it's not black unless you compare it side by side with the black version. But the black band is exclusively offered in white gold, and I'm personally not a big white gold person. I do like a little bit of white gold. I love how this beautifully merges all four, well, technically three different shades of gold, but I wouldn't personally go for this ring in all white gold. But if you want to get the black band, you can pick this up in white gold. They also offer it in seasonal finishes and seasonal colors. So if you're looking for a really subtle, a piece that won't be recognized from afar, yet adds a beautiful luxurious touch to your collection, something that will be a conversation starter and you'll certainly get compliments on, I would highly encourage you to look into Boucheron, because their heritage, their craftsmanship, and the pieces they offer are truly mind-blowing, yet they're not nearly as often discussed as some other popular designer pieces. But the pricing is unfortunately not for the faint of heart. I think this particular ring starts at just around $7,300 and it only goes up from there. It all depends on what finish you opt for, whether you want diamonds or not on your ring, but the starting point is around $7,300, which is of course an insane amount of money to spend on a single ring. But I can tell you this, I have a lot of rings from different brands, but this is the one that I always go back to, and if I could only keep one, this is definitely the one that I would stick with, just because of how much it adds to an outfit and it adds to my collection. So all I can say that to me, it was very much worth the investment. Moving on, I have a cult classic here, a piece that I feel like every luxury lover either has or at least knows of, and it's from a brand that I don't think you would associate with me and my aesthetic, and I really wouldn't either. But when I think of my collection and the pieces I use regularly, this is something that I use every day, all day, by design, but it's also something that adds so much joy to my life, which is my Louis Vuitton key pouch. I think it's something that a lot of you will need no introduction to. It's of course an incredibly popular piece that has been around for many years. It's been offered in different finishes, different colors, different materials, and at this point every single luxury brand has a take on this. Now, if you're not familiar with the design, it is basically a keyring, so I usually have my keys on here, and then this pouch you can use for a variety of different things. The original idea, I think, was that you would have your keys attached to this D-ring and then you could tuck them in here so they wouldn't scratch the lining of your bag, which of course is a genius idea, especially if you have smaller bags that you struggle to get in and out of and you don't want to scratch the lining. As you do that, this is a great way to protect your bag, but you can also use this as an additional card holder. I always have some cash in here, I have the key for my PO box in here, I have some loyalty cards, and then one thing I always tuck in here is my dry cleaning tickets, because I tend to lose those. But if I put them in here, I know that next time I go to a dry cleaner, this is something that I will for sure have with me. So if you're going for a one and done piece, if you're looking for something that is really compact, is a really easy way to organize your life, or maybe if you're not someone who is into carrying bags or even wallets, you just want something really easy and simple and compact, this I think is an amazing piece to invest in. And you don't necessarily have to get this from Louis Vuitton. At this point, every single luxury brand has a take on this. My personal favorite is the Louis Vuitton one. I also like the CELINE pouch. They do one in their Triumph collection, but I feel like if I didn't have this, I would probably get Goyard's version of this, which they launched late last year, I believe. They do have, I think it's called the Nano key pouch, which is slightly more expensive than this one. So I think the Louis Vuitton key pouch at this point is just over $320. I think it's $325, whereas the Goyard version is $530, so it is going to be more expensive. But I think the pouch, if you're really trying to justify it, the pouch itself is slightly bigger. But I mean, I have to show you this. This is not something that I babied in any shape or form, and it's still in immaculate condition. So this just shows you how hard wearing the Louis Vuitton canvas is. So I really cannot complain about this. There isn't a single bad thing I can say about this. In fact, if you are looking for your next luxury purchase and you don't have one of these key pouches, this is something I would highly suggest that you look into. And whether you go for the Louis Vuitton one, the Goyard one, or one from any other luxury brand, I do think it is one of those pieces that you will get a ton of use out of. This next piece might seem kind of random, but if I'm trying to be honest with myself, this is something that I wear weekly, if not sometimes even daily. This is definitely one of my most worn and most loved luxury pieces, which is something that I bought late last year from the brand Guest in Residence, which is actually Gigi Hadid's cashmere line. I feel like not many people talk about this brand, even though they have so many hidden gems. If you would like me to do a roundup of some of my favorite pieces from this brand and share a little bit more information with you on them, let me know in the comment section. We can definitely do a dedicated video on Guest in Residence or some of my favorite more contemporary cashmere brands. But anyway, long story short, this is a piece that I have been incredibly impressed with, which is their so-called Showtime shirt. It is one of their unisex pieces, so if you're going to pick this up, just keep in mind that the sizing goes by men's sizing, so it is slightly more oversized, but you can definitely go down a size or two if you prefer a more fitted silhouette. But the Showtime shirt is made of an extremely plush, heavenly soft, but really lightweight cashmere fabric. Guest in Residence specializes in cashmere. They don't exclusively offer pieces in cashmere. They do have a variety of fabrics at this point, but cashmere is kind of what they are known for. And I have to tell you, this is one of the most beautiful cashmere pieces I have ever felt and I've ever had on my body. Is it the softest, most plushest cashmere that I've ever had? No, it is not, but for the price, I think the quality is really quite impressive, and I also love the fit. To be really honest with you, even though I do have a handful of cardigans, I always struggle to wear cardigans. I feel like they're not the most flattering on me personally. So having a shirt is the perfect compromise because it gives you the look of a cardigan and the ease of just throwing something on as a layering piece without ruining your hair. But it feels a little bit more structured and also a little bit more put together. I have the black version, but I am very open to picking this up in different colors. They come out with this piece in seasonal colors. It is one of their classic pieces, so you will always find this in their core line, but you might not see the same colorways every single season. I think for this current season, they're doing this in navy blue, so they're not doing the black anymore, they're doing it in navy blue. And then most recently they have introduced this in a denim, so kind of like a blue jean color, which I am really quite tempted by. But if you have toyed with the idea of adding anything to your collection from Guest in Residence, or if you've seen the name but you had no idea what this brand is all about, I can tell you that my experience so far has been incredible, and this piece has really quickly become one of my most worn pieces. It's something that you can really easily dress up or dress down. You can wear this with a t-shirt and a pair of jeans as a layering piece, but I have also worn this on its own with a pair of tailored pants, and I have even layered this over another shirt almost as a cardigan or as a blazer, and it is really one of the best pieces that I spent my money on in the past year. I wanted to stick to 5 pieces in today's video, but I kind of want to give an honorable mention to my CELINE CT04 sneakers, just because I am on my 4th pair of those sneakers, and that is something that I really could not live without. They are by far my favorite designer sneakers. I find them not only incredibly comfortable, which is not always the norm when it comes to designer sneakers, so they're not only unbelievably comfortable, but I find them really flattering. They go with anything and everything. You can dress them up or dress them down. I love the fact that they offer them in pure white because I wear so much black. I actually find white shoes help me break up my outfit and lift them instead of dragging me down and just really making an outfit look heavy. I am a huge fan of those CT04 sneakers. I really think that they are by far the most flattering shapes out there. but I know from some of you and some of my personal friends that they can be a little bit too chunky for those who have smaller feet, so that is something for you to keep in mind. But thankfully CELINE has a pretty big range of sneakers, so CELINE sneakers I would highly encourage you to look into. And with that, let's move on to the last two pieces. Both of them are from Hermes, and they are things that I've had in my collection for years. They are not new purchases by any means. The first one is something that I talked about in my last What's New from Hermes video, which is my CDC, my original CDC in black matte alligator with surprisingly palladium hardware. Another reason that's surprising is because I tend to prefer gold hardware, but when it comes to the CDC, I feel like just because there's already so much going on, because it's such an over-the-top piece, palladium makes it just a little bit more subtle, although I have a hard time using the word subtle and CDC in the same sentence because those two terms don't usually go hand in hand, but I find it to be just a little bit more modern this way. Not that I don't have it in gold, because I do have the original CDC in gold too, and then I have the CDC 24, which is one of the more recent additions to the CDC range with rose gold hardware. But if you want to find out more about the CDC family, the history, the heritage behind it, and why it's getting so much attention for this upcoming fall winter season, make sure that you check out my last Hermes runway review, because we go into all the details. I share with you the difference between these two pieces, and we also discuss the heritage of this piece, because believe it or not, these pieces have been around. Well, the original design has been around since the 19th century. The reason it's called the CDC is because CDC stands for Collier de Chien, which means dog collar in French, because this particular design was first introduced as part of the Hermes pet collection. So the Medor pyramids with the ring and this sliding mechanism was first designed for hunting dogs to protect their necks while they were out and about running. Unfortunately, this design is no longer offered for dogs, because I would love to buy one of these for Pi, but since I think the first time it was reinterpreted on a belt, this particular design was 1927, and then shortly after they introduced the CDC bracelets, which is, in my opinion, one of the most innovative designs that Hermes offers. And you're looking for a truly head-turning piece, something that will add a ton of bang for your buck to your collection, look no further, because this is a truly mind-blowing piece. But it is not for the faint of heart. If you are more petite, if you have a thinner wrist, I would definitely steer you in the direction of the CDC 24, because it is going to be less overwhelming. But if you are looking for something that will turn heads, don't overlook this piece, because yes, it is a pretty penny. So I think this particular piece in alligator is just about $2,500. I have definitely got my money's worth out of it, and you can also find these on the pre-loved market at a much better price. I'll try to have a browse for you online, and if I can find any in good condition, I will make sure to have it linked in the info box, just because the more popular these pieces will be, the more expensive they'll become on the pre-loved market. That is just something for you to keep in mind. So if you have been thinking about getting one of these, maybe do it sooner rather than later. And I can tell you that my style has changed a lot since I first bought this piece. It's still something that I go back to time and time again. There was a point in time when I wore this almost every single day. I definitely don't wear it quite as much, especially not in the summer, because you can get quite hot underneath these. It's still such a beautiful statement piece that I am incredibly grateful to have in my collection. And last but not least, I wanted to end this video with a bag, but this gave me a little bit of trouble, because I wanted to include a bag here that I really carry to this day regularly, something that, as I mentioned at the beginning, I go back to time and time again. But when it comes to most of my Hermes bags, I feel like I go through phases, and there are very few bags that I have carried through all of these phases. I mean, in the past year, I really strayed from carrying most of my Hermes bags, and I do want to do a video explaining why that is. But there is a piece here that I think I have been carrying very consistently ever since I bought it, which most of you will be able to guess. It's not something that I ever hid from you guys. I am a huge fan of this piece. In fact, I have several deep dives on not only this particular piece, but on my collection of these pieces, because I have bought way more of these than I needed. But the bag that I go back to time and time again, a piece that is technically not even a bag, is my Kelly wallet, my original Kelly wallet, which this was actually my first larger investment into an Hermes piece. If you know me, you know that I prefer the original Kelly wallet over the Kelly to go. The difference is that the Kelly to go comes with fewer credit card slots and a removable shoulder strap, whereas the original Kelly wallet comes with 12 credit card slots on the inside and it doesn't have that removable strap that the Kelly to go comes with, which I really don't like the look of. I don't like how thin and flimsy it is. So personally, I still prefer the original Kelly wallet. But if you are looking to carry this bag as a crossbody bag, you of course at this point have the option of the Kelly to go and also the Constance to go. And the reason I am more loyal to the Kelly wallets over the Constance wallets is, number one, I prefer the closing mechanism, so the twist closure. I like it a little bit more on this particular design, and I also find this to be a more comfortable size to carry, if that makes sense. I mean, the Constance to go is slightly bigger than this, so if you are exclusively going to carry that as a clutch bag, I think it works beautifully. But if you want to use these pieces the way I do, so sometimes I'll carry this as a bag on its own, which I think it does that beautifully. But then other times I'll actually use it as a wallet inside other bags. I think you'll find this size a lot more user friendly. The Constance wallet can be just way too big for a wallet in my opinion. But if you're exclusively going to carry it as a clutch bag, it is a great size. But personally, I prefer the Kelly wallets. I have, I think, 3 of these at this point, but my favorite one is still the very first Kelly wallet I ever bought, which is this one. It is in Epsom, and I always get it confused if it's a tube or a tan, but I want to say it's a tan, and then it is actually a Verso wallet, meaning that it is a different but complementary color on the inside, which is why I opted for this color as my first Kelly wallet and not black. When they showed me this detail, I just couldn't leave it there, and at the time Verso pieces were quite rare, so it is a piece that I go back to, and it really doesn't matter what phase I'm going through, what my style is like, whether I'm more casual or more formal. This I feel like is something that I can always integrate into my life and into my outfits. So this is something that I have been using consistently since the day I got it, which I want to say, let me think, I think it has been 7-ish years, something along those lines, which I think says a lot. It's not only in immaculate condition, but it's something that I have gotten a ton of wear out of. So if I try to think about my Hermes collection, this is definitely one of those pieces that I actually use and enjoy to this day. And my friends, this brings us to the end of today's video on the luxury pieces I actually wear. I cannot wait to hear from you in the comment section. Please let me know what are the luxury items that you reach for. They don't have to be the most eccentric, most over-the-top pieces, but the ones that you get a ton of wear out of. I cannot wait to hear from you. And while you're down there, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I cannot wait to see you back here with a new video really soon.